talking like war stuff, that war is like the greatest thing ever and the worst thing ever at the same time.
It's such a weird thing. I think it's very easy to watch it as, westernized Hollywood style and not experience it. But I remember growing up, like me and my brothers were so like heaps into it. But I remember my mum she couldn't watch any war films. And it was like, oh, what's the big deal? But it was actually like for her, like the trauma of, like Vietnam War, refugee come over, and she was like, no, I can't, like, I don't like it, I don't do it. But my dad's like, yeah, let's watch it. Like, me and my brothers. My mum was like, no, I hate it, I can't do it.
I watched a little bit of that movie Platoon a little while back, and in Platoon, there's like a whole scene where they invade a Vietnamese village, and they say they're harboring the military, whatever, and everything, and it just like. There's like a communication barrier. They like can't talk, and the woman's screaming like, "Why did you do this to us? Why did you do this to us?" And she just keeps screaming it in Vietnamese.
Yes.
And eventually the captain just snaps and shoots her, and then they stomp on this other woman. It's like, if you're from Vietnam, that's
real. It's not a movie anymore. Like some of the stuff's like, oh yeah, that's a sick scene for other people. Like my mum's like, no, that's real. Like I've seen that. And
could
like,
happen.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the start of it.
At that point, it's pretty heavy.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were watching some of that the other day, and it was like, yeah, this is not a like fun friendly like go the good guys kind of movie. This is classic. Like got some real stuff in it.
Like everyone loves a good violent and killing scene until it's like not entertaining. Like it's that's real. Actually got too real. Yeah. Or you've had an experience.
Yeah.
I kind of glad that I can just live in my fantasy and go, yeah, that's sick. I want to be in the arena and fight. And then really, it's like, actually, I'm the guy. Actually, glad you're the guy that's peeing his pants. Yes. And it's vroom, you know.
Yes, like, you're just hearing the bass.
You think you're Maximus at the back, like, really? You're the guy. I'm the guy pissing my pants. Just standing there like, mama.
That is like every action movie, any of those things. Like, oh, that is so cool. I would be an awesome like total boss in this. Like, that's me. No, I wouldn't be. Look at these baby hands over here.
Where's my hand moisturizer? Come on, man. So
fighting in the sand. Like, I'm gonna get dirty hands. Like
I can't. What's going on?
I can't handle that. All right, and welcome back to the PE Forecast. We have AJ out on sick leave, so I'm on the intros for today. First up, we have Samuel. Have learnt that he's a Samuel, not a Sam, so got to say the right name there.
All right.
If only we knew that about him in the first place.
He's like, who is he? Get the passport.
Well, we're going full names. We've got Clement and we've got George, the super sub, filling in for AJ. Yes. And I'm Joshua. Upgrades. But no one ever calls me Joshua. Not even my mum calls me Joshua, actually. And so today we are talking a bit about team building and how to make a great team. Some of this came up at State of Origin when we were watching State of Origin and just thinking for how good all of the players were for New South Wales. They just didn't seem to get all of the balance right. And in particular, in that case, they had no strike power. You're looking at them saying, there's no one who's scoring a runaway try. There's no kind of weapon that you're looking to, despite the fact that all the players were great. And it got me thinking a whole lot about what it takes to build a great team. All the pieces that go into a great team, sport obviously, but also just in life, and how you build that team. It's pretty timely at the moment as well. We're right in sort of team building season. In Premier League is in their transfer market. NBA and NFL have kind of just finished their drafts and free agency and all of that. So it's time for team building. To go with New South Wales, I think that their key problem was they had, unfortunately, one of Clem's favourite players. Latrell might have been the guy who needed to change, and they just needed that player to be a kind of game breaker, which Latrell was for a long time. No discredit to him. He is beaten up by 1,000 injuries and everything, but he was not that kind of player, and that in some sense was what they were missing.
Yeah.
look, credit to the defense. I mean, it's like you got to plan for Latrell and shut that down.
The offside defense.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't want to get into the Malteser.
We've been there.
We've done
with the Malteser. So
it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, no.
But you watched the game against the Titans. They don't win that if he's not there.
That's exactly. That's
It's like, where was that for the series?
I think it's too much to sometimes go, okay, Latrell is like the one guy that is going to make a difference. Because in the defense, if the defense know that too, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to come in and have a full game plan set for that. It's just one dimension.
Yeah, so thinking NRL particularly, like we can go through a few different sports, but in NRL particularly, I think simple as in your outside backs, you need to have one at least who is just a meter reader. You need to have a Brian To'o type of guy. When the Broncos lost Herbie Farnworth, that was like we had Katoni Staggs as this big busting through people, running over everybody, game breaker kind of player, and he'd take 5 or 6 runs a game. But that was okay while the other guy was this big meter reader and this guy who's going to take all the hard hit-ups, just going to do the hard work. And so it's almost like you've got to have this right balance of both of those things, which New South Wales, for as great as all their players were, might not have gotten right.
Can I ask though, like I was thinking about it the other day, how come the American Olympic NBA team, where you've got about 8 egos, about a starting roster of 5 superstars, can pull it off, but New South Wales, with all the talent they have,
I think it's the leaders of the team as well, though, because you look at the coaches who have been the USA basketball, who was last year,
Stevie Kerr.
Yeah, like you got these guys who are just, and before that, Pop was he the
Pop Smith.
and even the leaders in the team like LeBron. You got these guys who are good leaders, but then you look at the Blues and you're wondering who's that leader. Laurie Daly's not that guy.
No.
Nathan Cleary should have been that guy, but he wasn't on the night.
Yes.
I think it comes down to just your leaders in the team, and especially in those moments.
NBA is a little more superstar focused. Like it obviously still requires teamwork. You can't just have one superstar who carries everything, but in the NBA you can kind of just go, we're going to have 5 superstars and they're all just going to stand on the 3-point line and drive one at a time. And that will kind of work, particularly in the like FIBA World Cup and that kind of thing, because they're that much better. Whereas in NRL, like you can't just have one superstar. You can't just have one guy.
Yes.
You got to have different pieces. And that whole like finding all the right pieces, that to me is it's kind of interesting thought. It comes back to some of who would you rather have for your team to start at fullback. Do you want Reece Walsh or Dylan Walker? Where one is every bit of flash and pizzazz and fancy stuff that you can imagine, and the other one is like just steady, 8 out of 10 every single game, just super consistent. And who do you want? Who would you pick?
I'm kind of the one who play a bit safe, to be honest. I like kind of things that are a bit more consistent. I know because you can win off the flash, which I love, but then it's like also if you lose off it, you're like, oh man, there's always that kind of what ifs and playing overhead. At least if I'm going to sleep at least decently, win or lose, if I go, okay, I picked a guy that's going to give me something consistent. I know what he's going to bring in the package. It's not going to be just cracked under pressure or did too much to overwhelm. I at least can be a bit easy about that. I think I'd be kicking myself if it's like, here we go. It's like completely blown up because they try to do something extra, which is what we see with Walsh. I think that's what we've seen in one of the Origin games. And it was just over the I think particularly I saw it especially in the grand final, I think. Remembering when that they lost as well.
Just pushing a little. I don't know if they did lose a grand final. I don't know. I don't know if that's worth remembering.
Sorry, I don't need to bring it up.
Wait, he goes for the Broncos.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, when you watch him play at his best, he's unbelievable, and you're like, sign that guy up to every bit of money. That's crazy. It's game breaking. And then when you watch it be bad, it's kind of like, well, can we just be more steady? But then you wonder, if you made him steady, would you lose who he is? The New South Wales problem is I think they had too many steady guys. And maybe you can say Stephen Crichton was injured and so he wasn't his spark self, but they just had lots of steady dudes, lots of guys who were kind of consistent. And then didn't have the end spark.
Yeah,
I think it depends on the team makeup as well, doesn't it? Because if you had asked me for the Dragons, who would we prefer, a solid, say, fullback or a guy that's going to try something? I think we got too many of those guys who are just doing a job, and you need at least one or two of those dudes in your team who are going to, break the game open, and when the game's tied or you're down by 2, you need something.
Yep.
You got one of those guys that can just...
In your 5 outside backs, you need at least one who's going to be able to run the length of the field and show that level of pace and that kind of spark. And they could do it by being a sort of super powerful guy, or they could do it by just being a speed or steppy or footwork. Like, there's multiple ways to it, but you got to have someone who does that.
Yeah, where I'd be investing in a center. I think, I don't know where the game's kind of gone now, but I feel like having a really dynamic, flashy center, attacking center particularly, can really change your attack. So I'd probably invest there on that edge, have a real set edge attack on the side, because I think we, spoke about this before, but when you look at like second rowers and even 5/8s, like, they're pretty much, you don't really need anything extra crazy out of what they can do. Like, they're very much kind of straightforward players in what you need them to do.
You need those are the guys to have your steady, consistent, fill a role, just do a job.
Do a job, run the line, and like we spoke about 5/8s as well. There's really only, like, Munster is the only one that comes to mind about a 5/8 I'd invest in and go, yeah, he's worth it. All the other 5/8s, I feel like I'm getting the same thing, like whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I think for me, and it's really hard for me because I actually love from 1 to 5 for New South Wales, that on paper, I think they're probably my favourite players to watch, right, in the NRL. The biggest factor is speed for me.
Yeah.
And I reflect back on 2021, where that pace, you saw Latrell was a bit fitter back then. Just at least our own 30, we're scoring tries from there. I think we're missing speed, and it goes back to what you were saying. I'd have Dylan Edwards every day of the week.
Yeah.
But specifically for game 3, chuck Pappy in there.
Okay, yeah.
Get some spark.
Yeah.
Just get some spark, because in that whole series, our fastest back or our fastest player in the team was Mitchell Moses, and he only played game 1.
Yeah,
like, he can't have that.
And you saw it when Trell made those half breaks on the edge. He didn't have enough to get through. You'd give it to Todd, or Todd didn't have the legs to go to the they were making half chances, but they're just missing that. That finishing.
Got to have a spark. We'll talk some other sports about that in a sec, but then thinking bench, and this one I spoke about to all you guys several times in some of the makeup of the way that New South Wales made their bench. I loved, and you hear lots about Max King. What did he do? He offered nothing. He played like this many minutes, but I thought that came down to actually the type of game. So I think NRL bench 4 players for all the international viewers who don't know. 4 players. There is, in my mind, kind of an ideal makeup is that you have to have someone who can do a few roles. So you've got to have your hooker, ball player, maybe could play some centres, maybe could play 5/8 if they need to. You've got to have that role. It's Connor Watson for New South Wales. Whether he was the right guy or not, you've got to have that role. And so I find it interesting to think about those as like the roles. So you've got to have that ball player kind of guy. I think you'd have to have as well a Max King type of guy who is really consistent, steady, so that you're winning. If we'd been winning those games, he's just there, keeping everything stable, keeping everything consistent, holding things down nice and tight.
He's going to get back on defense.
And he's just going to keep everything rolling.
Chase down plays. He's going to run back.
He's going to apparently get back on side.
Get back.
And make it in because of that. Feel bad for him about that being highlighted as what he did. They ran straight at him, and that got him into the origin.
Yes, he just ran back.
He did his job, but whatever. You then also, I think, then your other 2 is where you have some interesting choice. That I think you need one who is some kind of spark game breaker. We've spoken, Spencer Leniu is perfect. He is going to bring in something that's a spark, that's something different. That's just some dancing. He was just dancing after the try.
Just Samoan Siva.
Just say, how are you? How you going?
And then the last guy, I think, is kind of up to your team, your coach, what you're after, who you're looking for.
Who was our last guy? Hudson Young.
Hudson Young. So again, kind of
I like that.
spark kind
like
of guy. So they went 2 spark guys,
Yeah.
1 steady guy, and to me that sort of bench makeup sometimes is very interesting. I think of that even in Premier League, same kind of thing. You can transition to some Premier League wearing some jerseys for the start.
Yep.
Some people who follow the Premier League. Yeah.
Yes.
Same thing, like a Premier League team, you've got to have a spark player on your bench, but you also have to have some steady players on your bench who you can bring in and replace people, and you can't just rely on your starters to do everything. You got to have those rotational guys. NBA, same kind of thing. You've got to have at least one guy who can come off your bench and is going to provide something, rather than just going, oh, we'll just kind of manage and rotate our starters. So the Luka Kyrie thing of like, they were trying to go like Luka or Kyrie is always on at the same time, and then they'd run into this like, so like when there's one of them, the other team kind of just focuses on them, and we don't have this third guy. I mean, that was a good idea while we had Luka and Kyrie, but
He ain't there no more.
Wait a minute, he's gone? Wait, what happened? Where did he
He's
go?
skinny now too.
Yeah,
changing some of that.
Feel like,
I mean, he's
I thought he
gonna
was always skinny.
he's gonna be the next goat, and when he's the next goat, I'm gonna be the one sitting there just crying forever about.
Yeah, that's right.
He could have been.
Hey, when Jokic comes over to LA
Could
as
have been.
well, man, don't worry, no worries.
So thinking then NBA, what would be your sort of thinking through like your ideal lineup of how you're building a team? What's the first piece that you want, and then what are you building around them?
I'm going with a facilitator to start with. So get a big facilitator where they can put people in their spot, be creative. I think if there's no creativity, then side's gone. And then that person that's a leader, so they're either a point guard or they're a point forward, like I'm talking about like LeBron, Magic, those type of
Happy with
players.
Jokic to be that kind of guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go
So
with
as long
Jokic
as they're a creative passing kind of player, yeah.
facilitator.
Yep. I'd probably go with that. Plus, I'd probably surround the team with a big. Like, I'll be looking at size. Actually, looking at a player like Jokic again, but someone who's not just going to sit in the paint and just push their way around, but someone who's going to actually be able to draw attention, be able to kind of in the post. And then being able to surround shooters around them. And because I feel like training players to be shooters, I feel like is simpler than training a player to know how to play low, play in the paint, or be able to, work their IQ to come off screens and whatnot. And so
there's some level of size you've got to be born with
Yeah,
and grow
exactly.
into that you can't train a guy into becoming Shaq-sized.
Yes.
You can't train someone to become as big as Joel Embiid.
Exactly.
They got to be that big. Yeah, then you've mentioned shooters. You've obviously got to have, nowadays, a number of those. Like, you've got to have a couple of guys who just are that good a shooter. If they can also defend, then they're, like, fantastic. You pay a lot for that. Sometimes you've got to have guys who just can shoot threes and can't defend because you need them. But all of that sort of team building part is what's interesting to me, that all of those teams have just been through that in their draft, in everything that's going on, and you see some different directions. The Mavs have gone, we're just going to play tall, big guys. Everyone's going to be some kind of lockdown defender between Anthony Davis, Cooper Flagg, PJ Washington. It's some big guys that are tall, all long arms, great defenders. Where then if you're someone like the Lakers, they're spending the whole time just saying we desperately need a center. Where it's like we have these 2 superstars that everyone would die for, but needing a center, needing some of those shooters. And then they've got the third guy, like they've got an Austin Reeves. They've got that other guy who can, if they're taking out our key guys, they can turn to that guy. And that to me makes for some interesting team building for their future. I don't know if the Lakers got it right yet to be able to win or do much.
That depends if LeBron stays.
Yeah, that does. I mean, at this point, it seems like he is. Look, he looks very much in retirement mode. He's golfing, doing whatever, Pilates or whatnot, and just
I have no
enjoying
doubt
his
he
time,
will
man.
keep himself fit enough. He has built his
Yeah,
whole thing
he's
on being
got the
permanently
money.
ready, and so I have no doubt
It's
he's
like a habit
ready
now at this point. It's almost to the point where it's actually, that's what makes him feel good. mentally, physically. I can get that. I'd be like, it's just even just for the purpose of actually just feeling good, feeling healthy. It's part of your life, your routine.
The other part that I'm then thinking about, particularly with all those free agency times, is the players that you can convince to sign. Somehow, LeBron has had an aura where people are willing to go and play with him for less.
Yeah, don't blame him.
Full credit to him. He has pulled that off and been able to draw players that want to play with him, and they're willing to take less for a very brief period of time. The Mavs had that going with Luka, and you see other teams where they have some of that draw. But I was then thinking just different situations, sports that I watch and different things. For, say, Liverpool, a soccer kind of example of it, they have Van Dijk at the moment, kind of best centre-back in the world. They have Kanate, who is elite, other centre-back, and they kind of have no depth behind him. But how do you then convince someone, if you're team building, how do you convince a player to come over and play for Liverpool at centre-back? And it's like, we're going to sign you to be a backup. Yeah. But we need to sign players who are elite at the top of the game at a Liverpool level. How the heck are you going to convince that guy to show up and play if he's...
I think it depends on the individual. Like, if you said that to me, I'm like, what? Being trained by Van Dijk? 100%. I'm next to him. I'm his shadow. Anything that he does, I've got a notepad, everything. Like, teach me so I can strive to be great, strive to be at that level. But then, I think you sort of mentioned it's a financial thing as well.
If you're already, so the players they're going to be looking to sign obviously are already going to be fantastic and, playing for their country, whatever, which then is like, do you want to come over and be the backup guy if you're 27 in the kind of prime of your career, that level of elite, and Liverpool wants to sign me to be their third centre-back, and I might start sometimes if I prove myself, or I might not. And then if you're Liverpool now, you got to pay double the money because you're trying to get guys and convince them, and you're paying extra money.
It's a weird one, because some teams have no issue getting those sorts of, like, Liverpool traditionally.
You can name the team, Man City.
Yeah, they have no issue bringing in players that are guns at their position. They come into Man City or Real Madrid or whatever, and they just won't play. They'll just bench, they'll play some cup games, they'll fill in where they're needed. Yeah, but some teams have no issue. I don't know if it's the aura of the team or the coach or the people in the team, but they have no issue just coming in and just filling a role. Even, Jack Grealish at Aston Villa, he was a gun. He could have gone anywhere. Goes to City for, I think, an English transfer record at the time.
Yep.
Rides the bench most of the plays. Second season comes a bit good, but he's still not at that level because he's playing into that role that they need. So, I think some of it plays into the club they're going to.
Well, is that something that he wanted to do? Like, that's something that's the plan, or you got? Because I
think he might have wanted the money. Maybe there's a chance that he just wanted the money.
Fair.
There's the dilemma. It's like, what do you do? Okay, it's either you go to a team to sit on the bench, get some good money, or do you go? Actually, no. When I come, I want to play. And you see that so many times, right?
That's the biggest thing. That question. Would you rather be a star in an average team, or just an average or a bench rider in a team that's winning stuff?
Yeah, exactly.
You can say you've won. Yeah,
and I think it's dependent on the sport. Like, again, I'd be probably influenced to do that for the EPL or the NBA because I know I'm getting bank.
Yeah, so you're just getting paid.
But sitting on the bench for NRL, maybe getting 300k a year.
Okay, but aren't you there to play? Like, aren't you
that's what I always think.
There to, like, at some point when you be sitting there, like, the money can only take you so far. Like, money's money, and you got heaps. But at some point, like, where's the kind of purpose? I guess wouldn't you be kind of questioning?
What are you playing for? Like,
what am I doing here?
Yeah,
some of it comes down to time of your career. Where you are in your career.
Yeah.
I had a Alex Ferguson, I believe it's Alex Ferguson, heard it from not him, but from somewhere else. Sir Alex Ferguson, saying that when you build your team, you need to have 30% of your team be potential, 30% in their prime, and 30% veterans or leadership.
Okay, yep.
Some version of that, as quoted by Gary Neville or someone like that.
The towel guy.
You got to have those different guys. And I don't know, there's some guys in their prime who are happy to just go and ride a bench somewhere. But generally, then you're looking for potential guys that can come in, be growing, rising up. But if you have all potential, you're no good.
Yeah.
Same as if you're all leadership and veterans, that might work for a season, but they're getting old fast.
That was the Broncos issue a couple of years ago, wasn't it? It's just all young dudes coming through, just all young fellas, and they didn't have the Adam Reynolds or those older guys to see them around.
He's a perfect example of that team building thing. Like, he is like nearly 10 years older than most of the team.
Oh, wow.
He's 36, I believe, and most of the team is sort of low 20s.
Yeah.
Ben Hunt there now is old as well. But otherwise, it was like, we have this gun, 22, 23-year-old team, but they're all too young. They're all too hot-headed.
Yeah.
We need this old, stable head, just come in, calm everybody down.
But what do you think they're saying? Like, I always see, like, the veterans around and being lead. Like, what are they saying? What could they possibly be doing and saying that's changing the lives of the young players there? They just say, "Oh, chill."
I don't know. It would be example, wouldn't it? It would just be.
Oh, so
off
just
there. I think so. I think it's
Just
just
as a role model.
just them walking around. Like, this is what I do.
The guy's been in the league for 20 years.
It's the aura.
The aura, the profession. Like, he's just.
Yeah.
I think it would be more that than.
It'd be just like, oh, they're showing up to the gym on time, or they're staying an extra set as well, or they don't go out and like drink on a Sunday night before a game. Is it kind of just them? What's going on here?
I would think so. I would think it would be most of that, and then obviously you have that stuff that he's picked up. Like, he is imparting that, but I think most of it would just be off example. And how he conducts himself around training and all that little stuff.
Well, there was a bit of that with Ronaldo when he was last at United. A few years ago, and I remember there was a story going around about the food that he was eating. He was so strict to his diet that all the younger players were adhering to it, and then there was a couple others that weren't, and there was a little bit of beef there. Where he sort of told them off and said, "Hey, take this serious."
Yeah. I hear that on NBA all the time. There's a lot of those like, I'm going to make it to the gym first. Get there. Kobe's like sweating and like, wait a minute, the sun's not even up. He's been there 2 hours shooting. So that, and then you're like, whoa, that like, you changed your life. You're like, I thought I was him.
Yeah.
I'm not now. And then it kind of goes, and then there's another one about LeBron, how like when he was training at the Cavs, when he first came, when his second round, I think J.R. Smith was retelling the story, but it was like that culture where everyone was in the gym and everyone wanted to train together and do their stuff, and they'll be like, oh, other teams are not doing this.
I heard a lot of stories about where that culture really came from. Pretty sure I saw it in The Last Dance, where Jordan started it all. Started all of that.
I think there's a casino.
Besides who started that, as much as I love Luka at the Mavs and everything, maybe that just is it, that he goes to the Lakers, LeBron teaches him the LeBron diet and LeBron way, and suddenly he is losing his hairline.
That's beautiful. And he came strong. He's got, the jawline.
Suddenly he is fit and just looking like that. And maybe it's just the learning to play like that. And I think, again, team building, every team needs to have a guy who is driving some of that. And they don't always have to be a starter. They can just be a guy who's living off his reputation of, I was like this, I've won championships.
Yeah. Well, Man City had a goalkeeper, Ben Carson, I think was the name. He was there for 10 years. He never played. He would have played 1 or 2 games a season, but he was just there. He was the steady guy. Yeah. He was like that guy in the team. Even OKC, who's the guy, his number there retired? He didn't play. He wasn't a gun, or he wasn't even a bench player, but he was just there, and he was solid.
Perkins.
He was that.
Perkins. Yeah. I think they are. Yeah,
whoever it is that's who's leading it, I also think team building idea that you have to have, it's almost mandatory that you have to have someone who has at least made a grand final, if not won a grand final, in your squad. And they may not have to be a player. It might be able to be a coach if they can connect and impart some of that. But somewhere you've got to have someone who's had some success.
You need winners.
And really has won, and they're bringing that culture into to present that culture of, we win these things, we do these things, this is how we go about what we're doing.
Funny, back to the origin thing. In New South Wales, who's that?
Oh, the Penrith boys.
Should be Penrith guys. They've won so many comps.
4.
But we're talking about Origin
Yeah,
winning.
but I feel like we got that last year from our coach, not from the players.
That's right.
That's
yes.
where
I
he
agree.
gave him that
100%.
mongrel, that edge.
Yes.
But then, how much of an influence did Beliak play in that
Not
series?
enough. He brought Stefano, the bum, in the team. There you go, bro.
Yeah.
Fire
Winning
up.
great.
Fire up. Tell
Fire
us.
up.
Say with your chest. Let's go.
Whoever it is, I think they have to have that kind of level of leadership level. So when the Broncos did their rebuild, they brought in Capewell, old guy, just going to make everyone learn how to defend properly. They brought in Reynolds, going to just calm everyone. And they brought in Marty Tapau as well, which I can't stand watching him play. But there is some level of, he's done this for a long time. He knows how to train, how to prepare his body.
Just deadlift.
And
So I think that's all he does.
apparently just deadlift and bench.
250 deadlift.
And whatever team it is, they've got to have that guy. For Liverpool, for a long time, they had James Milner. And so he'd won with Man City. They brought him across on a aging out free transfer. And he didn't play very much for us, but he was just this old guy who was permanently the fittest guy in the team. So he's taking care of himself. He's driving sort of some of those standards of preparation, of those kind of things. And wherever you find it, whether it's young guys desperate to improve, whether it's old guys who've done it, or whether it's guys who've figured it out in their prime, you've got to have someone who's driving those standards. I do also think sometimes it's a matter of just players, and I mean, if we're teachers and talking about school teams, this is the permanent problem of school teams is you end up with, because you can't get players from wherever you want, you end up with we've got 7 left wingers and 1 midfielder.
Yes.
Great. I mean, this team's going to be interesting when we just have everyone wants to play left wing, no one wants to play midfield. Permanently looking for defenders as a school. Like in soccer, there's just never enough kids who want to play in defense.
Well, that's why when I run tryouts and stuff, I always start with, okay, we actually pick by position. Like, not everyone can play the same thing.
Yep.
Even kind of telling them if you want to trial as a point guard and you know there's 6 other point guards here for a basketball team, I say maybe be a little bit wise and go, maybe you're not the best point guard here. You might need to kind of be flexible and kind of pivot into something else that you can do and play a role. Because, role playing, I think that's where teams are really made.
Yes, we've been doing a little bit of that sometimes with picking our different teams for the weekly competitions and saying, like, for these last 2 guys on the bench, so you can take 10 players for basketball, we're almost never going to play more than 8. But those last 2 guys, maybe we're picking either body types of someone who's like, oh, you're a big, tall guy and you're not quite there skill-wise, you're not skilled enough to play, but we can hopefully teach you to be that guy in the future. The other guys say, well, I could pick 2 extra year 9 kids who are going to be moving up to the seniors next year, or I could pick 2 year 7s who I've got 3 years for them to grow, to learn, to work. And again, that's sort of like picking the pieces and putting it all together. I like all of that sort of jigsaw puzzle of team building and figuring it out. It's good. It's about time for the Premier League to kick off, which is that's the jerseys. Premier League's kicking off in a week. I'm going to ask Clem for all of his 2025-26 predictions.
Okay, come on, here we go. Yeah, let's go.
We're
Come on. All right, here we go now. Yeah, I'm locked in. Let's get it.
But actually, everyone's just a couple of quick predictions. Who do you think is winning the Premier League this year? Kicks off next weekend.
I think Liverpool are favourites at the moment.
And you're going to back them in?
It's
not just what's on your chest.
What jersey are you?
Why do you say that? I'm really curious.
Who paid you?
My whole life, I've always supported teams who are incredibly average, and for the first time, Liverpool are favourites, and it's like it's a bit of a scary feeling because it's like you're expected to win now. Now it's expected of you.
I thought Liverpool were good. I thought
they are, but they've never been.
They're actually favourites. They've always been good, not great.
They've always been second to City, but now they're finally taken the jump.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I will save Clem's tip for last.
Okay.
While he thinks of any Premier League team names.
Google it, Premier League.
Sam, who's winning the Premier League this year?
Hates me to say this. I had Liverpool going back to back, and then I just think the emotional and mental impacts of their teammate passing away recently
Yeah.
might play a bit too much on the team, which is why I'm going Man City coming back. And it hates me to say this because I'm a Manchester United person.
Man.
But I think they needed a break from winning. They had that average year last season, even though they finished well. And I think they're going to be back hard and strong.
So who won it last year?
Liverpool did.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
It's like back to back. I mean, reigning champs and they're the favourite. I mean, that makes sense.
But before that,
Yeah.
City won it for like 4
Yeah.
years in a row.
Liverpool
Yeah.
finished second. Just
Okay.
I actually have been torn back and forth on this. I was super excited for all like Liverpool's signings, team building things. They have had a near perfect off season. Like their left back situation is perfectly some of what we've talked about. In that Robertson is the multiple awards, trophies, all of that, but he's aging out at left back, and so but they've kept him in the team, so he's there for leadership. He's going to rotate through. They've brought a new young guy who's a gun to play that side, and they've gotten a lot of those things right. But there is a lot of change. But then the more I was thinking about it, Arsenal, they've signed a bunch of players, so they're going through a lot of change. Man City going through a fairly big transition change time. All three of those teams are not quite as stable as I think they'd like to be. My heart obviously says Liverpool, and I just want to believe for back-to-back and Liverpool to just keep winning and keep winning. But I'm actually possibly leaning slightly towards Arsenal at the moment, just thinking they have a little more stability, and that one step more stability might be all it takes for them to finally get over the hump and finally win it.
yeah.
So I'll obviously say heart Liverpool, but head maybe just the instability around Liverpool might just be the thing that makes them miss out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Clem, got
I mean,
a team name for us?
For me, it just sounds like there's only like 4 teams in this whole league. Like all I hear from areas is either Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and Man U. Like what else? I don't even know if there's even any other teams out there.
Not
Chelsea.
Man U right
Chelsea
now.
is very competitive.
Oh, yeah, Chelsea's a
Man U is
name.
not competitive.
That's
at
I
all.
think Man U dropped. I mean, back in the 90s, that's all I had heard of.
Oh.
So
All Man
I'm
U.
kind of
Going to early 2000s as well.
early 2000s. I'll say I was kind of growing up. There's like, oh, Man United. So I was kind of always like on the bandwagon. Oh, Man U. I remember playing FIFA back on like the whatever Nintendo 64 or something, and it was like. You picked Man U and
Black
I
and
played.
white.
So that's all I know. Yeah, exactly. There's all like players that I didn't even know how to pronounce. And
So with no knowledge at all, who are you going to
knowledge,
pick?
Back in
I am
Man U.
going. I'm back in. I'm sticking with it. I'm going with the Tottenham Hotspurs.
You picked
Okay.
picked the worst possible.
What do you mean?
That's a good pick. That's
I just
I
said
like that. I like that.
change. They've gone through crazy amounts of
Is that
change.
her?
They just
We'll find out.
They
Clem
don't-
could be the
Costa-
genius who knows
Postecoglou?
everything. He's gone.
He's
Okay.
gone.
They axed him.
Sacked.
That's why I'm still picking him. Okay.
Outstanding.
All right.
Anyone for a top goal scorer?
Oh. Who was top?
It was Salah last year. It was
Son.
on.
Son.
He's also gone.
Okay.
He's moved to LA.
All right then. Well,
Time
just,
of
Any of
goal
the
scorer.
young strikers that have been signed in doing anything interesting, or is it just a Haaland Salah race again?
Saka?
No, he doesn't score enough.
No.
Delap will be interesting for Chelsea. See if he gets enough ball up front. Otherwise, Salah and Haaland are just.
I think Haaland. Like, to be boring and cliche.
Probably he is. I think they're just going to be good again.
surely Salah's.
Likely.
How old's Salah? I mean, he's
getting there.
32, I think.
Ages.
Yeah.
32. He is when you talk guys who drive training standards. He is does everything to
Gold
take care of his
standard,
body,
yeah, nice.
everything to be fit, ready.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy. All right, and we will then have our last little segment. Quote this week is our end segment. Heard a quote. This one was actually in church recently that I heard this quote. And it says, "Your talents and giftings can take you where your character can't sustain you." Your talents and giftings can take you where your character can't sustain you. I actually thought that was an interesting connection to this whole idea of team building. we've talked a bit in the past, especially with Clem, about what you're looking for in the kind of people you want in your team.
Yeah.
And there's definitely times where people are so skilled, they're so talented, whether it's in sport or in other things, that they end up in teams or places where they don't actually have the character to maintain that they don't have the discipline, the dedication to actually sustain or continue what they've achieved. Can happen in business. Guys get some crazy success in business and it turns out they were shady. They didn't actually take care of their finances, pay their workers, whatever.
Yeah.
Can happen in sport. Obviously, you got these superstars, and we've talked about like what kind of person do you want in your team, the talented person or the person with character. And it can happen to all of us, even rising podcasting superstars could become it just exploding virally online.
Yeah, gone crazy.
International.
We got the
Absolutely. I mean, that's the dream. We're going to find out. And I guess then just to wrap it all up in terms of team building, we obviously have our team, and some of that team building is we've got some super old veterans, some slightly less old veterans, and we've got our young guys and filling all those roles.
There's names for it. If we go around, what do the kids say? Is it like there's Unc?
Oh, you're Unc.
Can we go around and go like, can we get this right? Who's who? Because
You're Unc.
is it YN?
Wait, what's that stand for? Wait.
What's it stand for?
I don't know what. I heard, young person.
You need to explain to us.
Don't know what that means. If he is copying Unc, then I'm scared of what they say about me.
What's he Pops? Or what are we talking here?
He's Abraham.
Yeah. All right, we go.
All right.
Big bro? Is it? AJ's big bro.
Yeah, AJ's big bro.
What are you?
Big back.
Wait, what? Pause.
I have no idea what's going on there.
Wait a minute.
But
Damn, there's something going on.
all right, that's a wrap, and we'll be back next time with something new.
You love that soundboard.